Breakers of Shadow was released on January 15th, 2016. While Performage Pendulum, otherwise known as PePe, was already considered to be one of, if not the best deck of the format, the support in Breakers of Shadow would transform the deck into an entirely different amalgamation, bolstering the deck to its full power status and ushering in a new Tier 0 format.
In this series, both MBT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Joker, Monkey Board, Guitartle, Pendulum Sword, Pendulum Summon! This PePe deck. It's all I've been able to think about for the past 8 weeks. I gotta get something to eat. Do you know if we have any rice? This is unbelievable. I'm starting to hallucinate. I'm seeing them everywhere. I gotta get something in my stomach. There's no time left. It's now or never. Looking for an easy way to eat well and save money this year? Cut back on expensive takeout and delivery and get started with HelloFresh. You'll love how fast, easy, and affordable it is to whip up a restaurant-quality meal right in your own kitchen. Eating well is top of mind this month, and it's comforting to know that you always get top quality with HelloFresh. Ingredients travel from farm to you in less than 7 days, so you know they're fresh. Skip the trip to the grocery store and stock up on snacks, sides, desserts, and more at HelloFresh Market. Simply add these staples and sweets to your weekly order, and they'll arrive at your doorstep along with your meals. HelloFresh also offers meals for those with specific dietary restrictions. I personally don't eat much gluten or dairy, and there's a surprisingly high number of options available. Use my link or go to HelloFresh.com and use code POGCIMOJAN21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. Once you click the link, my description will live update to count up the purchases.
Well, folks, welcome to 2016. One of the most tumultuous years in human history, I spent my 2016 ending my college career, and in February, duelists in Atlanta experienced something similar, an ending to their interest in the trading card game. In front of you sits PePe, one of the most powerful and dominant decks in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Now, this show is no stranger to Tier Zeros, but even among duelists who remember the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh's unplayable formats, PePe stands out as a Tier Zero among Tier Zeros. So bad that Konami did something they have not done prior or since. As I'm sure you just heard, Breakers of Shadow came out in mid-January, and after only a couple of weeks playing with the product, Konami knew they had to do something. The pendulum monsters available in the card pool had ballooned to such an unsustainable amount that an unbeatable turn 1 combo deck had emerged. Locals and regionals were reporting tremendous dissatisfaction amongst the player base, and Konami knew they had to act quickly. In the first week of February, they released the first and only adjusted ban list, a completely voluntary list that hit some of the problem cards in the deck you see in front of you. They let locals owners know that they wouldn't risk their OTS status, but could poll their player base to determine if they would or would not follow it. At competitive REL, however, they would abide the existing ban list, which contained none of those hits. Such was the list in effect in Atlanta the weekend of February 8th, 2016. This event had a strangely somber tone. It was all but a foregone conclusion that PePe would be taking up a majority, if not every single one, of the top 32 slots at this YCS. Duelists strained to figure out a way that they could counter this exceptionally powerful and flexible strategy, but also were simultaneously upset they had dumped money into a deck with a clear shelf life. With both the adjusted ban list looming for local play and an implied ban list afterwards that would codify some of these into the actual ban list, duelists were caught between a rock and a hard place. Invest in cards they knew were going to be worthless shortly, or lose to this deck. The coverage of this event remains some of the most interesting writing Konami has ever done. Here's a quick question asking which deck you are running this weekend and why. Almost all of the individuals there say Performapal Pendulums, except for a couple of players who say they don't have the money to purchase the deck and are playing something like Burning Abyss with main deck Anti-Spell Fragrance. Here's a quick question asking which deck you think will win this weekend. Jeff Jones, Max Reynolds, Andy Schultz, Patrick Hoban, Fraser Smith, Jonathan Moore, all say Performapal pendulums. In fact, if everyone polled, only 2 individuals said Cosmo, but added a caveat that they expect it could also very well be Performapal pendulum. And finally, one of the most telling quick questions about how duelists felt about the adjusted lists concludes with the sentence, "Duelists seem to have mixed feelings about the adjusted list." All that baggage aside, let's talk briefly about the deck. PePe is actually a combination of Performapal and Performage, but it doesn't really do the deck justice to describe it as just those 2 parts. Also, paramount in this deck's success was the Draco Slayers, Luster Pendulum, Vector Pendulum, Master Pendulum, and Draco Face-Off. By using Luster Pendulum to pop cards like Performage Plushfire, you can ensure that you get monsters onto your side of the field to make rank 4s before you commit to anything, then banish those monsters from the graveyard once they're used as material to load up on additional scales afterwards. The Performages have both a 3 and a 5 scale, making them incredibly flexible, and some of them can even be flexed as removal. The Performapals were even better. Monkey Board had just been released and was a 1-card scale 2, allowing you to add a Performapal monster from your deck to your hand and scale it immediately afterwards. After you'd Pendulum summoned, you could draw additional cards because the card you were searching was usually Lizard Draw. Occasionally, you would go through Lizard Draw and Guitardle, all in service of a Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer summon that would plus you even further. It's hard to describe just how much advantage you could drown your opponent in uninterrupted. There's some old Lithium videos showing combos featuring Guiding Ariadne, which Simo will talk a little more extensively about, that go upwards of plus 10. This was common during this format. There is, of course, some skill in the matchup. Wavering Eyes is an incredibly powerful blowout with the potential to take over the game entirely, but can be negated by the effect of Performage Damage Juggler in hand. Using a Draco Face-Off can be very risky, and frequently, resolving it correctly is paramount to your continued success. Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer does require a pretty significant investment to get the maximum number of pluses, and opponents who are understanding just when and where you aim to activate your choke point style effects can make use of the negation available in the format to prevent you from doing so. Maxi and Ghost Ogre are both legal and both very playable during this period. I don't want to get too bogged down in the weeds. Alex will talk to you more extensively about the card by card, but one more thing I do want to mention before we move on is Solemn Strike. Breakers of Shadow had a bunch of really good cards, including Cosmo Dark Destroyer, but this one saw a lot of play even in powerful combo decks. When you could be sure you were going first, you boarded into this, set it, and prepared to negate your opponent's Pendulum 5. I'm playing Phasal Consulus during this event. If you go back and watch the video, he is extremely young during this period, because I think that it most accurately reflects how decks were going to be built in the future. Many duelists during this period were still playing exceptionally powerful traps and Rafflesia setups, but it's this deck in particular that feels like it understands the future of combo. I really like how consistent and powerful the list is, and I'm excited to show it off. Here's Alex.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally here. Welcome to Full Power PePe. Now, I'm sure Joseph has done a fantastic job giving you an idea of what it was like around this time, sort of the historic build-up to this moment. And oh man, I remember the hype during this time. People were seeing this deck in the OCG and were flipping their shit that this deck was going to ruin the game. And yeah, it lasted for about a whole 2 weeks before we got a list in place, and we'll get to that point once we do. But I'm here to do the good old card by card so you can understand just how this deck is going to operate. Now, I'm playing a slightly different variant than what you saw with Joseph. I'm actually on the Ariadne build because Ariadne was something that a lot of the OCG players used and was part of the reason that it sort of stoked a lot of fear of how powerful this deck is, because the turn 1 setup seemed unbreakable, especially if you could set up with Ariadne and you're able to pop it multiple times with something like a Luster or a Performapal Pendulum Sorc. So Luster, or rather Guiding Ariadne, has an ability that when it's in the pendulum scale, you don't pay life points to activate counter traps, discard to activate counter traps, which can be relevant if you're paying for stuff like Strike or Warning, but its monster effect is what's most important. And remember, that triggers even if it's destroyed while in the pendulum zone. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can reveal 3 counter traps from your deck, your opponent chooses 1 for you to add to your hand, and you shuffle the rest back into the deck. So, if you show them 3 strikes, they don't really get a choice. If you show them 2 strikes and a warning, they still don't really get a choice. So honestly, it's fine either way. Ideally, you're looking to cycle this as much as you can, can, so that your turn 1 setup is going to have a lot of protection. Then we have triple luster pendulum. I mean, being able to pop this, you can pop something like Plush Fire as well and just get so much value out of this card. I mean, there's just so many powerful things that this enables, like going into stuff like Ignister and the like as well. Just a great card all around. Only 2 copies of Damage Juggler in this deck. A lot of the cards you see in this list were either banned or at 1 on this upcoming emergency/adjusted ban list that gets released later on, even though now you might see like Monkey Board still at 1, Draco Faceoff still at 1, Plush Fire still banned. There'd be a lot more 1s and ban symbols if you saw this deck February or March of 2016, depending on what point you're looking. You'd see stuff like Joker that would be on there. You'd see this card on there. Just a lot of stuff is a lot different now compared to how it was in 2016. So Damage Juggler is great because it searches any other Perform Mage, which now that you have Plush Fire, this is another valid target for this. Only 1 Hat Tricker, you can search it, so you don't really need more than that. Mirror Conductor is also another Perform Mage that's interesting because being able to have the attack, or rather swap the attack and defense of monsters, is kind of neat because it allows you to out things that otherwise would be kind of annoying and sort of makes this card a low-key threat. So hopefully we get to see that come up. Only 2 copies of Plush Fire in this deck, and this card is just fucking absurd because it's not a hard once per turn. You can special summon other Perform Mages, and it just lets you just get so much advantage off of what you're already getting if you're popping it with like Luster or Pensork. It's just ridiculous. It's also a 4, it's a 5 scale. I mean, it does everything you could ever want. Then we have 1 Trick Clown. Some decks opted not to play Trick Clown just because it's a bit bricky, but if you got it into rotation, then it was pretty nice. And then we have some of the newer Performer Pals in the form of Guitardle and Lizard Draw. So ideally, you're trying to end your setups with like a Lizard Draw Guitardle combo, because if you scale Guitardle, then scale Lizard Draw will actually, rather, Guitardle will trigger drawing you a card. Then you can Lizard Draw, pop itself, since you have a Performer Pal in the other Pendulum Zone, and draw a second card. So basically it lets you Pot of Greed after you've done everything else, which is just silly. And then we have the man himself, Monkey Board. Boy, look at that face. That's the face of true terror right there. This card, there's not many cards in Yu-Gi-Oh's history up until now that are just 1-card pendulum scales that didn't have massive restrictions, but Monkey Board was maybe the first in my eyes, or if not, it was something super obscure. The first playable one, let's say that. And the fact that this was a common in Breakers of Saddle still baffles me just because of how absurdly broken this card is. So the main effect that matters here is the pendulum effect. So unless you have a Performer Pal in your other Pendulum Zone, this card's scale becomes 4, which is relevant because otherwise this being a 1 is actually quite relevant for several reasons. And if you have a 4, that means you can't Pendulum Summon like literally anything in this whole deck. During your main phase, if this card is activated this turn, you can add a level 4 lower Performer Pal monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So what this means is that with Monkey Board now, you can use this to search Joker or Joker to search Monkey Board. And in either case, both of these equal a 1-card full setup with Pendulum Scale and a level 4 monster on the field if you want to use your normal summon. So Monkey Board's just insane. You can just end with setups where you have Monkey Board in hand for next turn, and then you're able to just go off. Even if they clear your board, Monkey Board gets you scales, you pen summon everything back, and you just keep going. And then we have the Performer Pal Pendulum Sorcerer himself. Speaking of terrifying cards, this card is absurd. So it has a pendulum effect where it actually gives all Performer Pals 1,000 attack if you pendulum summon a Performer Pal when he's in the scale. And he's a 2 scale, so he's actually kind of low, so that could matter in some instances. But more importantly is his monster effect. So the effect reads, if this card is special summoned, you can target up to 2 cards you control, destroy them, and if you do, add Performer Pal monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, except another copy of Sorcerer. You can only use that effect once per turn. So what you can do is you can pop stuff like Ariane, and you can pop stuff like Plush Fire, rather, and by doing so, not only do you get to add any of Performer Pals to your hands, you could add a Joker, you could add a Monkey Board, you could add Lizard Draw, you could add Guitardle, but then you also get to trigger the effects of these cards as well, meaning that this card is at minimum a +2 when you're actually activating that effect. The fact you get to sculpt your hand as well, this card is just insane. And then speaking of insane cards, we have the best Stratos for this deck, which is Joker. Couldn't really ask for much more. And then we have a nice package of 1 Master Pendulum and 2 Vector Pendulum because we were playing 3 of the common Draco Face-Off. This is just a way to E-telly out a level 4 monster onto the field, while also, or put it in your Pendulum Scale, I should say, while also being able to put a monster in your extra deck for free to Pendulum Summon. Yeah, can't see why this card's at 1 now. Then we have Foolish Burial because we are on stuff like Trick Clown and also Damage Juggler, and so if we need to get any specific card, Foolish Burial could be good for quite that. We have Twin Twister, which is pretty nice because a lot of people were scared of like the Ariadne stuff, and so being able to twin away stuff like Strike before you commit is quite important, but you could also just use this to hit your opponent's pendulum scales as well. So it does have other utility outside of just going after the traps. We have triple wavering eyes, which basically is a staple because this is a consistency card, but it's also a way to just win the mirror match. And then we have traps. We have bottomless, triple strike, and warning. So strike and warning we already talked about with Ariane, but bottomless is in here because of the newly released Trap Tricks Rafflesia. This is a rank 4 you can go into that you can send any of your holes to the graveyard to activate their effects by basically replacing Rafflesia's effect. So your setups can end with this, and if they try to pendulum summon, you can just send this to the graveyard and just get rid of their whole pendulum summon. It's just insane. That's it for the main deck, though. The extra deck, we have Dinosaur Power, the Mighty Draco Slayer. So this is a fusion monster that needs a Draco Slayer Pendulum monster and any other pendulum, and must first be special summoned by tributing the above monsters you control. Pendulum cards and your monster zones and pendulum zones cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and once per turn, you can special summon a Draco Slayer Pendulum monster from your hand or graveyard, but it can't be used as a fusion material. This is similar to Ignis, except it summons from different places, and then it can't be used for the respective, typing of that specific card. Then we also have a Magister as well, which basically is all the way down here to go just complete our Draco Slayer package. And then we just have a ton of rank 4s. We have Dweller, we have Castel, we have Digusto, we have Diamond Dyer, we have Evil Swarm Nightmare, which is a bit of an interesting one. Actually kind of good, but it's a sort of like alternate to Rafflesia in a way that doesn't require you to play bottomless in the deck. We have King of the Pharaoh Imps to be able to search out anything we might need. We have the Magister, as aforementioned, Profane Trapeze Magician for OTKs, and the newly released Teller Knight Ptolemaeus. So we've had this out for a bit now, I believe, and this card's powerful because we can use this to rank up into Cyber Dragon Nova, and then ultimately go into the now newly released Cyber Dragon Infinity. And just having a setup of like Infinity plus Rafflesia plus like a few strikes in the back row, how are you really going to beat that? During this time in Yu-Gi-Oh, there was not many decks that could stand up to that, which is why you could see that this was a tier 0 contender. Our side deck has some neat options. So we've got 2 copies of Effect Veiler in here. This is nice to be able to stop the effect of like Pensork from popping off, and that's quite relevant. We have 2 Ghost Ogre, which is pretty good for multiple reasons because we're playing against a Pendulum deck, but stopping something like Monkey Board is pretty devastating. Maxie's in here, of course, because it's Maxie. Psyblocker is kind of an interesting tech. You can like Pendulum summon this out, and you can use this effect to like protect yourself either defensively or use it more offensively if you're trying to break a board. And then we've got some spells in the form of Dark Hole and Raigeki. If you can bait out Infinity, the boards that these deck produces are actually kind of weak to removal, and so that's why these cards are here. We have double MST and Twin Twister if we need more back removal for the traps, and 2 copies of Chaos Trap Hole. This is good because there's a lot of like lights and darks that we could use to just banish off of this, and they get banished specifically instead of like going to the extra deck if they're in the case of Pendulum cards. So I could see why this was cited in here, and I'm curious to see how this version of the deck plays out. I'm sure I'm going to misplay left and right, and so by no means am I going to play this deck perfectly, but I will do my best. So ladies and gentlemen, let's not make you wait any longer. It's time to duel. Well, Joseph, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is over once again. Thanks for watching, folks. This is the last episode of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because after this, no one ever played the game ever again.
You joke, but it was pretty close. Certainly no one played for this one weekend.
It's fun when we get the tier 0 formats because I think a lot of people look forward to those episodes, especially if like they didn't actually play during that time. It's not fun for us because that means we have to actually know how to play these decks, but you know, that's a completely different story. And that's not why people watch this show in the first place.
That's probably true.
Yeah. All right. So let's just get into it. We've said enough about PePe at this point. I think people just want to see the action. So let's shout the patron. This is very fitting. Nekogal number 1. Thank you for the support. Buddy, you got the hand up for me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have my dice because I've been reconfiguring my setup. So I'm just going to guess. Let's go even.
Yeah, it's even. I was hoping you did have the dice. Every relevant number in this deck is even.
Yeah, well, actually, no. It could be odd depending on the number of counter traps that I'm going to set on turn 1.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Best of luck, buddy. And, oh, boy. Okay, so we don't draw for turn, correct?
That's correct.
Just clarifying.
Take your time on this.
I think we're going to start by firing our favorite card of all time. Actually, I just realized that we are not in the correct room for this because we need to be using the MR3 room. I'll tell you what, buddy. We'll see if it matters.
Okay.
We'll see if it matters. I will fire Performapal Monkey Board, fresh out of Breakers of Shadow.
Yeah, this guy's at 1, right?
No, this is unlimited because it was just released, I'm pretty sure, like 2 days before this tournament. So I'm going to go ahead and scale and now activate the effect, if that is okay.
Yeah, we'll Ghost Ogre here. I'm just looking to turn my brain off.
Okay, interesting. Well, I will let you know that will turn your brain off, considering I don't think I have anything else I can do now. Now we get to see the power of a card like Ghost Ogre, which we like haven't really seen that much of up until this point, in all honesty.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of just been like a sleeper out of, what was it, Cross Souls, I think?
Became very popular right now.
Yeah, for a very particular reason. And Monkey Board is just one of them. Okay, yeah, that was fun. I'll set 2 and pass. Go ahead.
Okay.
I guess we don't need the classic room after all.
Who knows? Okay, so you're on the stupid Ariane build, and those are both Solemn Strike, and I lose when I perform my Pendulum Summon, right?
That's correct.
All right,
yes.
well, whatever. So we're going to normal summon Perform Pal Skullcrabat Joker.
There he is.
We will
That
activate the
is-
effect.
You know what? I'm going to warning this.
I'm going to tell you
feeling
right now, that
fancy.
was absolutely the correct call. Okay.
Well, because Joker's insane because it just goes into everything. Everything in this deck filters into everything else, which
That
is
is
what
true.
makes it so crazy.
All right, we are going to scale Luster Pendulum the Draco Slayer.
Sure.
We're going to scale Perform Age Plush Fire.
I hate this. Would you like to activate the effect of Luster Pendulum?
Yes, I would.
I think I have to Wavering Eyes. Like,
Oh!
you get the value, but I have to. It's
Bada
it's getting
bing,
way too out of
baby!
hand. No, I got Wavering Eyes. Oh, all right, I'm fucked.
All right.
All right. So I take 5.
Yeah.
You get to add a pendulum.
Yes, I do.
I wonder which it could be.
It
want
literally could be anything. Could literally
So
be
fucking
anything.
stupid.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa,
I
whoa,
hate
whoa.
this fucking game.
But we're not done. I'll trigger the effect of Plush Fire.
Yeah, I know. You get to get plush fight. That's why it didn't even feel good to do that. You still
Yeah.
get something here.
Yeah. We are gonna get. Oh, jeez, Louise. This deck isn't even playing Trick Clown. It's like, why would I play?
Oh,
Trick
your build is. I don't know if mine is, honestly,
Yeah,
but like
it's-
I noticed that some lists aren't playing
It was not consistently played because it's such a brick. It is
It's
a just
brick,
a guy,
yeah.
you know. At
Yeah.
least fucking Damage Juggler is a Karibo. Okay, Monkey Board effect.
Okay, I bet you there are so many people that are like, I don't understand why Monkey Board was ever banned. It seemed we're gonna show you in this next few
welcome.
episodes why this card's fucking banned.
We're gonna grab Blizzard Draw. Blizzard Draw.
Sure.
PS3.
How this was ever okay, I will never understand.
All right, guess what my third one is? It's fucking Pendulum Sork.
Fuck off! Oh my god, I'm so dead. Yep.
We'll go Pendy Sork, Plush Fire, Monkey Board. We're gonna go Resolve Pendy Sork. We'll grab. Oh, this is weird because we've actually already been through everything. Well, Guitardle's fine. I like Monkey Board for next turn, and then we'll resolve Plush Fire.
What's a hard once per turn?
Did I just get another Damage Juggler? That seems okay. I'm pretty sure this is the end of the game because we do play
'cause you just
Trapeze
have
Magician.
Trapeze,
I can just
yeah.
expedite this. We'll send these two to the extra for Ignister.
Yep.
Ignister effect, target Lizard Draw for my friend. We'll go overlay these two for Trapeze Magician, Trapeze target Ignister, combat 6, 25, 1850. Okay.
Oh,
It was coming.
Okay, you know why I'm actually kind of mad. So I had a Lizard Draw in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have gone Lizard Draw Monkey Board, cracked Lizard Draw to draw a card, if you ogred me, I could have still actually had plays. So that actually kind of hurts. I don't know if that was correct to even do that, but oh man, seeing that Joker, I kind of wish I did. Game 2, buddy. Yeah, that went about how I expected it to go. I still don't know if the Lizard Draw thing is correct or not in retrospect.
And
But,
notably,
I wasn't doing
mean,
myself any favors.
I can put the Ghost Ogre at different points in the combo too. Like it's good
Yeah.
against Luster too. So I don't know. It's a hard call to make, but
All right, let's get to it. I got the Joker this time.
epic.
Effect fine.
You want to know how I got these scales? Yeah.
A Mr. Monkey Board.
Mr. Monkey Board.
Then I guess we'll scale him, or at least attempt to. This went so well for us last time.
I'll do the exact same play.
Excellent. That did not go well. Okay, this goes to the extra deck. What am I doing? Joseph, this was a great time. I'm glad we did this. This was a lot of fun. Let me tell you. I will set 2 and back.
Again, I mean, your deck. Oh,
what were you about to say, buddy? Go on. Go on.
Here's the problem. Your deck is a lot more bricky than mine because it's got all these counter traps, but it's got all these counter traps. So face off.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so this is like the weirdest card because isn't it your opponent randomly like I don't understand why the opponent has to randomly pick. Isn't that redundant?
I hope that there's a macro here, but there's a lot of cards like this that are like, oh, the wrong person picks. Anyway, this card is still limited.
Maybe it's to like circumvent cheating because like if you got to randomly pick, you could like actually maybe manipulate. I don't know.
I think they just write on new cards randomly pick and they just assume you'll roll a dice or something.
Yeah, they probably came to their senses. Okay, so the best way to do this is probably just throw them both in the monster zone and then we'll just roll a die.
Okay, so we need a Draco Slayer and a Drake Overlord.
Correct.
So we are going to go Vector Pendulum the Drake Overlord. This guy sucks. And
this guy sucks, but you gotta play him.
Master Pendulum on his way to become Masterpiece, and then pick your poison.
So we'll do 1, 2, 3 Vector, 4, 5, 6 Master. And looks like you're getting the Vector, buddy.
All right. So Vector goes into the Pendulum zone, or I can special him, and then Master goes into face-up
Master will go
extra.
to the extra deck.
I am going to special him. Scale Monkey Board.
Yeah.
Monkey Board effect.
Yep.
Okay. Whew.
You think I'm on Ogre? This my deck's. I have all these strikes and shit in my deck. I can't afford to play Ogre, buddy.
Okay, well, it's not Ogre I'm worried about. Let's go for Scully.
Makes sense to me.
We're going to normal Scully. We are going to trigger Scully. We are going to grab...
I love how for, like, a tier 0 deck, or, like, one of, like, the most feared decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all time, you think of, like, Teledad, right? And, like, Dark Arm Dragon's the face of that deck.
Right.
You think of, like, Dragon Rulers, right? And, like, the dragons are the face of that deck. And you look at this deck, and it's, like, Joker's having a good time. Monkey Board looks like a fucking doofus. Like, you just have, like, these, like, silly, ridiculous cards. And it's like, yeah, this is the most terrifying deck ever printed in the history of this game.
I mean, it kind of is, though. It kind of is.
Yeah.
We'll grab Pendy Sork.
Why does that not surprise me?
I know all this to be like, oh, good golly. Pendy Sork, you know. Okay.
I know you want to go for Diamond Dyer. I know you want to.
I do. I want to go for Castel. I am going to go... It's very bad, though, is the problem.
I have no response.
Castel. Oh,
get rid of my
face up.
Joker? Yeah, I was going to say, you
want
to try again?
That's why we go Diamond Dyer.
That is why you go Diamond Dyer.
We will target ourselves and this back row.
Well, I may as well chain it. It's a waiver.
Oh, jeez Louise. Okay, all right. That's fine.
You got a response?
5. No.
Cool. So at least you need another scale if you want to bring out the Sork.
All right, I will scale Sork.
Okay.
Scale Luster Pendulum.
Okay. I have a second.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, I will damage Juggler here.
God fucking damn it. I can't have anything.
Okay. Luster Pendulum.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's not that... actually, it's pretty bad because you have Pensork. Yeah, I'm actually fucking dead here probably. Okay, continue.
We will perform a Pendulum Summon.
Yeah, you will. Yes, you have scales. So you get Pensork, you get Master, and maybe something in your hand.
No, nothing in my hand. Hello? So we weren't able to weave in a plush fire here because I was so concerned. Target up to 2 cards you control, destroy them. Add Performapals with different names. Do I really just want to get...
I mean, you probably just go for the Lizard Turtle here, right? Or you just get follow-up for next turn.
Well, what am I really doing with drawn cards, right?
I guess you're not playing, like, the traps and stuff, so it's different for your deck.
Yeah.
And you've already Pendulumed. You already normaled. You don't really have, like, much left in terms of gas at this point.
That is true. We will crack them. Let me give my guy 1,000 as well. That's crazy, right?
With Pensork's effect?
Yeah.
This thing actually has an effect in the pendulum scale.
All right, let's grab Guitardle, Lizard Draw.
Yep.
Scale Guitardle.
Correct.
Scale
have to do it
Lizard
in this
Draw.
order.
Draw for Guitardle.
Yep.
Lizard Draw. Okay. Well, now I think that I might be able to kill you. Let's go damage juggler. We will grab hat tricker.
Yeah. For those of you wondering, the reason why damage juggler negates wavering eyes is because it's an effect that would actually deal damage to the opponent, and damage juggler negates the whole effect of the card.
And thank God for that, I can only say.
I disagree. I think they were wrong in how that should work. Only for this one game that's ever being published.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your hat tricker. That's fine. I'm so dead here.
I don't actually think you are. Let's just go combat.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Go 25.
7.
1950.
11. 1950.
A second main. Oh, this is just so whack. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll make Tolmaeus.
There he is.
And then we'll go Tolmaeus for Nova. And then Nova for Infinity.
There's the boy.
Back to you.
Such a sick card. All right. We will draw. Stand by main. I'm going to scale Mirror Conductor. That's fine.
So that would switch my guy to a 16.
Correct.
Oh, that's kind of crappy. Scaling is fine.
Attempt to activate target CDI.
I guess I do have to do this, yeah.
Okay. So you get this as materials, just negate destroy. No, it just negates destroys. Okay, this goes away. I was thinking the absorption effect. Want to make sure. And then we drew Joker.
Oh, that's nice. Yep.
So I'm very tempted to take Monkey Board. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I am an 0 for 2 record with resolving Monkey Board currently, but you're one Ghost Ogre down. So like, what are the chances you have another Ghost Ogre in hand?
Literally,
like
0%.
realistically. Part of me is just thinking if there's like a safer way to do this potentially. I also just might be in a position where I don't have a choice. Well, unfortunately, I think I have to go for it. Please don't do this to me.
No, that's fine.
Okay, now we might be in business potentially. I'll grab Lizard Draw. We'll scale him. Pendulum Summon.
Hold up.
You have a Maxi.
I do, yeah. I had to have something in hand.
You had to have something in hand. I mean, I don't really have a choice here. I need to try to find a way to either kill you or just set up in a position where I can just do something. Okay. Yeah, I have to pen, so we're bringing all these out. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God.
Damage Conductor. I'm gonna flip your Infinity.
Yeah.
So I take 5 from this, unfortunately, but that's totally
That's okay.
If I had Trick Clown right now, that'd be sick. We'll go to battle.
Yep.
So we're gonna go. This is what? He's 16, so just go 2.
How? Yep.
And then 6, 18, 19.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, 2950. That's not impossible. Second main, I think I'm going to give you 1 extra card here. I think if I go for this Rafflesia, this at least gives me something to wall up with here.
Okay.
I'm also going to crack the Lizard Draw to draw a card.
Sure.
I'm the best player in Yu-Gi-Oh! Go ahead.
All right. Stand by me.
Yeah.
Draco face off.
That is fine.
I'm going to reveal Luster, Pendulum, and Vector.
1, 2, 3 Vector, 4, 5, 6 Luster. That Vector is just glued to your hand, my friend.
Folks. They demand him. I will put him in the scale.
Sure. And then Luster goes to your extra?
Yeah.
Not happy about that, because now you have a tuner.
Anything here?
I don't think so, unfortunately. My most of my Wavering Eyes are in the graveyard, if you haven't noticed.
I have. What I also have noticed is Rafflesia. So, oh God, what do I have to play around? The set card is probably like fucking Solemn Strike or something, and I'm toast. Alternatively, we are gonna normal Mirror Conductor.
Hey, this is like my play.
I will.
That's fine.
I will target Rafflesia.
Oh, I see. So you can make it a 300 defense point monster. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Fucking Mirror Conductor of all things. What an MVP this game. Holy
indeed,
shit.
indeed. Strike it! You know you must!
Honestly, I kind of think I might have to.
It's so crazy.
God, that's so strong. Sure.
I guess I'll go to combat, right?
That's fine.
Why?
She's down.
All right, second main. Wavering Eyes.
That's not good. Sure.
Wop.
Fine.
Wop. I'll banish that.
I take. Yep.
Oh, you son of a gun. I knew it. We'll grab Monkey Board.
Sure.
Monkey Board.
Yep.
Let's grab Plush Fire. I can't grab Plush Fire. I'm literally cheating.
Just like I did last episode.
That would be really cool if I could grab Plush Fire. We'll grab fucking Pendy Sork.
Sure.
Scale silver claw.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Boom. Bada bop.
Bring them all out.
Bada bop. Should have one more guy. Yeah, this guy. Pow. I have a monkey board in here. I will Pendy Sork for one. We'll grab this guy. Let's do some spinneroonies. 1, 2, go Ignis. Ignis effect. I'll pop your fucking Draco Slayer, and then I'll shuffle your. You know what? Actually, you can have the Draco Slayer. I'll pop the Scully. Let me see if I have a.
This goes.
Yeah.
And then this goes.
See if I have a Draco Slayer here to summon. I do.
Shuffle.
We'll go these two for Dinoster. And then we'll go the last two for Magister Paladin, I think. Is there a better one than that? I don't think so. Oh, I guess we could have made another Tolmaeus and made Pleiades. Whoa! We'll go Magister.
Yep.
And then we will set one and pass turn.
And end phase you search, right?
Is correct. I'm going to go grab... well, I'm getting him next turn, so let's grab Plushfire.
You fool! You will fall to the might of Trick Clown!
Oh,
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, my deck's actually on it, so...
Oh.
Oh, man. I guess I should have striked the Mirror Conductor.
So
I was not playing around Wavering Eyes for 3.
There was not an out there, because if you strike the Mirror Conductor, then I Wavering Eyes banish the Rafflesia.
Oh, yeah, so it just didn't matter.
The thing you got for waiting was I didn't have the battle phase, which I think
is like,
right.
I was thinking that makes more sense, because then at least I get another turn, but, I mean, when you look at the board you assembled, I don't think it mattered anyway, because I was on such low resources. I guess we can do the game 3.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, maybe you won't open Ghost Ogre for the 3rd game. Aren't you only on, like, 2 of it, too? You're not even on 3.
Yeah, people did play the full play set. I don't know what people were on during this period.
That's even more comical.
All right, I will give you a hint about this opener. It does not contain a Ghost Ogre.
Okay, I mean, you could still have, like, a Max C or something, but at least I know I don't have Ghost Ogre. I'll let you know. I currently don't have a fucking monkey board, so it doesn't matter. Let's go face off.
Face off!
Okay. We will go Luster and has to be a Drake Overlord, right? Yes, Drake Overlord. So it has to always be Vector. All right.
In my hand, I am shuffling 2 slabbed copies of Flame Wingman. Is it the OCG Starlight or the Mattel promo? Mattel is going to be Luster. It's the OCG. All right. Enjoy Vector.
Okay, so Vector goes to the field.
Or your Pendulum
Or the
Zone.
scale. Or the scale. Yeah, this goes to the extra deck.
Scale.
That's all that matters of this. Okay. Where do I want the Vector? Where do I want the Vector? I will scale the Vector. This is so bad. Let's activate Giturtle.
We've all been there. Hold up, thinking. No, you're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say whatever. Pendulum Summon. This isn't terrible.
Sometimes
so we'll
it's just good to commit to almost nothing.
I have
before you
Pensork,
pen.
so like it's not
this is
bad.
nice. This is not
like
bad.
this is okay. This ends up working out a bit. All right. So Pensork effect. We're gonna pop the plush, and probably the Vector, if I'm being honest.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's grab Joker Monkey Board. I don't know if I want fucking monkey board. I mean,
yeah,
probably.
you get you don't really want it in scale as much as it could be like.
Yeah.
You've already normaled, right?
No, I haven't. I can still normal.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's
All
what
right,
I mean.
yeah, well.
Like, this is actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, that sounds right. You can use
I mean,
the Joker
I get
to get
everything
the lizard
either way. Yeah. So we just take this, normal the Joker.
Yep. Whoa,
Actually,
whoa, 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 whoa,
do I
whoa,
even need to
whoa.
normal the Joker?
Before you normal the Joker, aren't you forgetting a little flame mascot?
Oh, that's true. I forgot. I have my little plush fire. Thank you. Thank you.
This is crazy. The
Yeah,
stupidest card
this is
ever.
so stupid.
Do
Yeah,
not
okay.
bring this off, by the way.
Any Perform Mage. This is fun. I could do Trick Clown shenanigans now. That seems pretty good. Yeah, we'll do that. Sure. We're actually playing him. We didn't get to show him off. So let's get him out. Then we'll go. I actually want to do it this way.
Oh.
Oh, do I want to do it? I think I actually want to draw. Yeah, no. We'll normal Joker. I actually think I'm just going to get Lizard here and then just save the monkey board for follow-up. I think that's stronger.
That sounds right. Because,
so
like,
we've already
passing
penned.
on scales is so scary.
Okay, so we'll go Giturtle, draw. We'll crack Lizard, draw
Yep.
again. That's comical. Okay. So now we've got some fun stuff we can do. I think I like this play the best, so let's do it. We're going to overlay all 3 of these.
Ugh, Jesus Christ. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to go for the Ptolemaios.
Yep.
We'll activate.
Yep.
We'll give us the Nova.
Your deck is, like, so specifically adept at doing this.
Yeah. We'll trigger Trick Clown. 1,000.
Yep.
Or pay 1,000. We overlay these 2 for Athlesia.
Yep.
And then we overlay the Infinity on the Nova.
Oh, jeez.
Set 1, and
come
good
on.
luck.
That's
what this deck is supposed to do. Maybe with a few more copies of Ariadne being fired, but you know, it is what it is.
All right, let's begin with Skelly. Skelly effect.
I'll negate him.
All
I'll just put a counter to show that we've used him up.
right, Chalice, target Rafflesia.
Sounds good to me.
All right, I'll just tell you this: the set card is not Wavering Eyes.
You are correct. It is not.
Okay. Luster, target Pendysork.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here's the second problem. If it's not Wavering Eyes, what is it? All right, we'll get this out of the way. I'm going to Pendulum Summon 4 monsters. Or will I?
Hooray! How could this have happened?
Yeah.
All right, that was a good ending. Thank you for indulging.
I was so close. I was like, I just needed
actually
one
looked
thing.
pretty
but
scary.
Really, any set card would have done it.
I even drew
Oh my
Damage Juggler
God.
off of those draws with Lizard Draw, too. So even if you had your own Wavering Eyes, I actually had the out for it for once. But yeah, this hand actually looks pretty good,
insane
too.
as well.
2 traps this time. Bottomless was the only target that I had for the Rafflesia. So it's like kind of a solemn strike.
Yeah, so a lot to talk about here.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I guess we should talk about the most important card in the entire universe, which is Wavering Eyes. Holy shit.
Yeah, this card is...
So, obviously, we've alluded to it in previous episodes, that Wavering Eyes is this unbelievable mirror breaker. You saw it here. When your opponent is playing Scales, even if they end on only 1, which is pretty frequent, it's not only, like, go and grab any Pendulum monster. Because of the existence of Monkey Board, it's set entire Scales and draw 1, plus it's MST, which meant that if your opponent was on this, like, Ariadne version or Athlesia version, you can flex it against one of their negates. I just cannot believe this card exists. The check to it, of course, is every single person in the universe is playing Damage Juggler, which is Gamma for this card.
And it's pretty nice, too, that you have this, like, flexible card that you'd already play in this deck regardless, but the fact that it has incidental synergy, that it can actually stop Wavering Eyes, which is, in all honesty, if you open with a pretty standard setup, it's not impossible for you to lose, but it's pretty difficult, right? And Wavering Eyes is one of those cards that can really turn the tables back in the favor of your opponent. So having a card, let's say you've already burned your Cyber Dragon Infinity Negate, because in all honesty, you've seen in the side decks, as we discussed in the deck portion, that people are on stuff like Dark Hole. They're on stuff like Raigeki. I think Deception actually was on Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. And so if they don't end on the Infinity, they don't really have any way to interact with like a spell or trap, right? And so Damage Juggler gives you that extra protection against Wavering Eyes, and also just the protection to not die either. So that way, because any single access to a monkey board or any way to just get Scales, which in this deck is incredibly easy, means that you can just turn the entire game around.
I think actually, despite the fact that we're playing so many 8s, I'm pretty sure Hopeharb is not out during this time. People would make like Felgrand as part of an end board sometimes, which is, I mean, just ludicrous. They're obviously Wavering Eyes is the far and away most important card in this deck. Second most important card, probably this little asshole, Performage Plushfire. Oh my god. Wow. So, like most of the crazy cards in this deck, like Ignister, no once per turn on this guy, can be destroyed by anything, including Wavering Eyes, including Pendysork, Luster Pendulum, and it always pluses. If you're playing the Trick Clown, it pluses into 2, but it probably pluses into 2 anyway, because you can banish the Damage Juggler for the Hat Tricker.
You can use it once, Pendulum Summon it back, use it again. I mean, it's just, this card is, and then like, I just can't get over how how resilient
and it's removal
this deck
too.
is.
I mean, I won game 2 because I had Mirror
Yeah.
Conductor. Like, this was a good card in this meta. Yeah, it's just shocking. The Draco Slayers obviously do not need any more discussion. We have already shown telling you that Ignister's crazy.
No, we need to talk about this asshole.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. We need to talk about
guy.
this fucker
oh
right
my
here.
God.
I remember when this card was announced for the TCG and Breakers of Shadow, and it came out that this card was a common.
It could have been a
secret. People were losing their goddamn... Now, to be fair, like, it could have been. And to be fair, like, Infinity was a secret, and Strike was a secret, and Pensork was a secret, and, like 90% of the rest of the deck was also... Not 90%, actually. I pretty much just listed every secret rare card this deck plays. But a lot of the cards in Breakers of Shadow that this deck needed to play were secret. But this, which is, like, one of the most important cards of the deck, gets, like, basically auto-banned, is common. And I think that was, like, when people saw that, they were just astonished. This is, like, one of the things to me that just, like, broke pendulums as a whole. Pendulums, like, as a mechanic, were already inherently broken, in Master Rule 3 specifically, right? But with Monkey Board, it just took it to the extreme because there were very few, I don't even know if there were cards that preceded Monkey Board in this category that represented a one-card scale that gave you both scales.
The closest is probably
I guess like
Call
Fleet
or Scout, but the restrictions on those were unbelievable.
Right, and this is searchable as well with Joker, which means that you have this like little loop that if you draw either one, you not only get both scales, but you also get a 4 on the field as well to just start your plays, which makes the deck just unbelievably consistent because it's so easy to access both of these cards. I mean, it's a 1 scale as well. It has the Performapal name, so it actually synergizes with things like Guitartle. If you actually need to just get draws off of that, like that works. I mean, the card is just bonkers, and like it's
not only is, of course, exceptionally powerful, it also has a legacy. Like, we call cards like this Monkey Boards to this day. Despite the fact that Scout preceded it, this is the one that imprinted on our psyche. You know, Mellow Madonna isn't Scout 2, even though she pays life. She's a Monkey Board. And when this came off, oh my gosh,
and then
I was
also
shocked.
We were all losing our minds. We were like, the game's over. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh's actually dead.
It's Dante!
And then, of course, we have
Dante in
the man
cosplay.
himself from Breakers of Shadow. It's Dante in cosplay. Yep, Mr. Pensork. You want to talk about cards that that just warp the landscape of a game? This card is ludicrous. I don't know how they
because as Performapal evolved, there was not a consensus as to whether this was a good thing to play or not. But during this 1-week format where Plush Fire was legal, it was an auto include. The ability to pop off from any position, refill your hand. Even if you've already Pendulum summoned and you can't get more material on field, you can just draw shit with Lizard Draw and Guitartle. And, like, you get rewarded for doing so, even in decks that aren't playing back row like yours. Like, obviously you want to draw into a Strike, but if you draw into a Wavering Eyes, it's just as good. You know, if you draw into a Ghost Ogre, who cares? That's fine.
Exactly. And you and I were talking about this actually prior to filming, too. This is such a nice card for if you get Max Seed, because at the very least, you could just Pensork whatever you have on the field at that point, and just add yourself, like, Joker Monkey Board for next turn. And it's like, okay, if you don't kill me, I just have full gas combo for next turn. There's just, like, I'm glad we also showed off, too, like, the differences in, like, the Strike / like, Counter Trap version of this deck versus your just, like, all gas version of the deck. I will say, it was very frustrating sometimes just having these. Like, they were nice to have, don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of us looked to the OCG around this time and saw that everyone was just playing the Ariane stuff and just defaulted to that was the way to play this deck. But even now, like, if you look at, like, modern deck building theory, we just figure these cards are bricks. We want to be able to just combo, and ending up on a board of like CDI Rafflesia and even like just like having a million cards in hand is probably just better than the risk of drawing any of the bricks. Not that they're like bad. They're obviously like strong enough to win games on their own, but you'd rather just have the consistency.
It was a couple of things.
Win more games more often.
As we've alluded to in previous episodes, modern combo philosophies started developing during this time. You know, prior to that, combo philosophy, even in formats like Wind Up that were so monster heavy, are like you want to do your combo and then set a Fiendish Chain, right? And this reflects that understanding. I think a lot of Ariadne's popularity, especially early, is a result of like Lithium videos where he's like, oh, look, you can go +15 and set Grand Horn of Heaven. And like, it is alluring to think of, but in reality, Ariadne really doesn't do anything and introduces like all of these potential bricks into the deck that win the game in a vacuum, but in practice, you know, I'm always boarding into Twin Twister, you know, to beat your back row anyway. I'm always boarding into Wavering Eyes, which if I get the 3-mat off, trades for a strike. And in doing so, you have given up several slots that could have been Plush Fires. The extra deck has become the Solemn Strikes. We don't need them in the deck anymore.
Right, exactly. And I think there were actually some players, your deck might have been one of them, if I'm not mistaken, that the players were actually siding
I'm on strikes on
or
the
like
side.
the counter traps for when they knew that, that when they knew they were going first, that's when they wanted them in. And so it's not that they were completely devoid out of every deck. People just had different philosophies on how they felt the deck should operate. It's also funny, too, that looking at the board right now, I think except for Pensork, every card on this field right now either gets banned or limited in
and do keep in mind, Pensork was on the short list. Here, we could even throw some more in there.
Yes.
Here's this guy.
Face off. Where's Luster?
gets
Luster,
hit.
I think, gets the axe too, right?
It's just
Damage
shocking
Juggler.
how much of this
That's
deck
another one.
had to be eviscerated before it was even remotely fair. And I think we're getting one more week of unfairness, right?
Yeah, I think Pensork actually, maybe in the OCG, did get hit, if my memory serves correctly. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments. But I thought he actually did get limited in Japan.
Let us know.
So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Let's go ahead and shout the patrons for all of their continued support. So shout out to Shadow1317, Tim00x3, Moto, MBT Play Madolce, Cameron Smith, Pony Stark, Par 2, The Sinker Guy, Dan Manhoben, Phoenix the Immortal, Dixon Yamada, Draconic, Jordan Coons, Iron Bladesman, Jesse Wood, Chris Hood, Valen Jackson, Little Fadeleaf, Dylan Hunter, Cody Brett's Extremely Vulgar Man, Brody Eastwood, Carlos DT, Flannel Daddy, Hornet, Indian Taisho, thanks for the sleeves, Dad, Max, Matthew Brady, Twinkle Muncher, Dalton, Luabon, Yodabon. I've tried reading cards before, it was horrible, and my guinea pigs had to get me therapy. Helios515, Simo's Chaos Cooking Draft, Cheeks McLapperty, Stolfin Amethyst, Nim Noodle, Malabranch of the Burning Tunnels, Wonder Waffle, MBT cancelled by all community soon, cancelled by all committee soon, cancelled by all players soon, Sakura-san, Shrugzix, The Crystal Beast Enthusiast, ITF, Corvain, and True Dragon Gaming. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.